Aren't you surprised let's still own this thing? What's going on, guys? It's Brandon, or teslaflex, and right here I have my 2024 Tesla Model 3 Performance, and in this video I'll be reviewing it after 1 year of ownership, so let's get into it. So as most of you know, I took delivery of my Model 3 Performance last June in 2024, and since then it has actually gotten so much better. So I did have a few issues at delivery, like a tiny scuff on the paint of my car, and then a rattling parcel shelf like a lot of people have, and actually some cracks on the accent lights that I'll have clips of all those up on the screen right now. And overall, I've had a really good experience with this. This was my 8th Tesla that I've bought, and I would say it's probably one of the best besides my new Model Y, of course. And overall, I would say the wrap from Dry Protected I put on it has held up really well. The only real damage I have is a tiny little nick here on it. It's just a little scuff, and I can always rewrap the front bumper, not an issue at all. I have my Martian wheels MW05 on right now, and I think they look really good compared to the stock wheels. And overall, it's held up really well. There hasn't been any major issues I've had. I've had a new windshield replacement after I got a chip, which spread to a crack. But besides that, I really haven't had any issues in my 1 year of ownership. And compared to other Teslas I've owned that maybe after 6 months, it would start to get some creaks and rattles. That really hasn't been the case for me. In fact, it's actually gotten better with some of these minor issues I had at delivery getting fixed over time. So just a quick refresher on the specs of my Model 3 Performance. This is the 2024 Model 3 Performance, basically identical to the 2025 model with the stealth gray paint and white interior. It gets a maximum range of 298 miles on the warp wheels, but I have Martian wheels, so it's a little bit off from that. And it also has a top speed of 163 miles an hour and has a 0 to 60 of 2.9 seconds, which I can confirm is pretty insane. As most of you know, I took delivery of my Model 3 Performance in June 2024. It was a bit of a mess just to get the car, but I finally got it in my hands. I brought it straight to out of spec detailing to get it wrapped by Dry Protected with this matte paint protection film. And overall, the wrap has held up really well, and I'm really glad I did this on my Model 3. There has been a few issues that I've had with the Model 3, and I'll go over those real quick. The first, which actually is, just kind of my issue, the windshield got a chip right about here, and then in the winter, it spread into a crack. Had to get that replaced, but because I have Tesla insurance, it was much cheaper to replace the whole windshield. And I also had a service credit because there was a tiny little scuff on the paint on the driver's door when I got the car, so they gave me a $300 service credit for that. They also replaced the parcel shelf in the back because there was a rattle that I had from delivery due to a broken clip that was actually broken since they built the car. And then I also had all 4 door panels replaced recently because the accent lights were cracking and delaminating. Overall, the front has held up really well. I mean, on the front splitter, if you come look at this, you can see there's like a tiny little bump right here. It's nothing crazy. And then I actually kind of ran into something slightly right here. So just a tiny little scuff on the paint protection film, but that's just on the PPF itself. So I can always replace the front bumper if I ever want to do that. But besides that, like, everything else has held up really well. A lot of people are wondering, like, does the refresh Model 3 get any creaks and rattles after a year of ownership, or is there any like major issues? And honestly, no. Like my Model 3, it was a pretty early Model 3 Performance too. And in general, I haven't had any creaks and rattles form. The only like rattle I had was with the parcel shelf, like I mentioned, and that was actually because when they built it, they bent one of the clips, so it never actually fully went into the metal part of the car. So whenever I would play music, it would be like a really loud, like buzzing noise at certain frequencies. But Tesla took care of that. They replaced the parcel shelf, they replaced the door panels. So all the stuff they've done has actually made the car better over time, and that includes the full self-driving updates this Model 3 has got as well. Next, I want to talk about some of my favorite accessories that I've added to my Model 3 over the last year, starting with my paint protection film from Dry Protected. This was super fun to put on, and it actually changes the look of the car, and of course it protects the paint, and that's my favorite thing. I haven't had to worry about any scratches or any damage. It's been through the winter, and it has held up really well. I also added the Martian wheels MW05 right here. If these look familiar to you, that's because I had them on my previous Model 3 Performance, and I figured, they look great, might as well throw these on the Model 3, and I really am glad I did. And I also added mud flaps right here. As you can see, they're they're just pretty basic mud flaps from Amazon, and I decided to do that just because I wanted to kind of protect this back area from any rocks and stuff that might potentially scratch the paint protection film. But it's a protection film. It's gonna keep it pretty good shape regardless. So let's hop inside real quick and show off some of the other accessories and modifications I've done. Now for our interior accessories, starting off with the sponsor of this video, MagBack. This is the MagBack wireless charger right here. It mounts onto the top corner of the screen. They also offer a version on the right side if you're on right-hand drive. And the thing I like most about it is that the wire can actually be fed through here underneath the wireless charger through the center console, and then it can plug directly into the 65-watt USB-C port in the center console. And this is complemented by the MagBack Elite case. Now, the nice thing about this is that there's magnets all around here. So what I like to do when I'm at the gym is just kind of stick it on the machines, and it sticks to basically anything. Now, there's also a loop here on the back. So if I want to hold my phone without having to like rip onto it, I can just stick my finger through it, and then boom, I can just hold on to it. And there's also a built-in kickstand right here. So I can just pop this open right here, and then I can turn my phone and I can watch movies or TV without having to prop it up on anything. Because this is a MagSafe case, I can just pop it right up here onto the wireless charger. And of course, any MagSafe case will work on this. I usually prefer to use the MagBack cases just because they're more magnetic and they stick on better. But of course, if you want to get one of these for yourself, the wireless charger, the case, or even the rim case that they still sell, you can use code teslaflex, and I will have that link in the description below. Let's get on to our next accessories. Next up, we have the charcoal suede dash piece from the Tesla shop. I got this a few months ago. It replaced the carbon fiber, kind of controversial, but I like the way it looks. I also have a screen protector right here from Spigen. It's their matte screen protector. I wrapped the center console in a carbon fiber vinyl. I also have the sliding center console organizer from Spigen, which I really like. And then I have the armrest, or the armrest glove box console organizer where I usually keep my wallet and keys. And right here, you can actually see this is the Commander. So it's not, you know, the one I have in my car, but it's right there in this corner, just right underneath there. And what it does is it allows you to really customize your Tesla, do so many different things. If you look right here on the accent lights, you can see they're changing colors. And that's actually one of the settings. It's like the welcome lighting, that when you open the door, it will cycle through all the colors in the spectrum. You can also add the stocks. I don't have my stock on right now, but if you don't like the turn signal buttons, you can have a stock right here to press it down instead of using the buttons. But overall, like a lot of these little accessories I've added, I haven't gone like overboard, added a tilting screen or a yoke or anything. I've been considering the yoke, but I haven't gone too crazy. I like to keep it pretty simple. But guys, let me know in the comments if there's anything that I should do with accessories in the Model 3, and I'll look into it. All right, so now before we go for a quick drive to just, you know, talk about my thoughts on how it drives and overall, I want to talk about my efficiency. So I have used the Warp wheels with and without the aero inserts. The Martian wheels MW08, they were 19-inch wheels for the winter, and then I went directly to the 20-inch Martian wheels MW05 for my summer set. So it's a little bit mixed with the efficiency. It's kind of really hard for me to judge exactly what my efficiency was, but my average efficiency for the 9,304 miles I put on this car, which might be pretty low for some people, is 291 watt-hours per mile. So that is just over 3 miles per kilowatt. I'd say it's like around 3.2, 3.3-ish miles per kilowatt hour. In general, I would say it's pretty good. And this is a performance car, so it's less efficient in general. As you saw in the out-of-spec range test, my Model 3 Performance got nowhere near the long-range rear-wheel drive. It just got absolutely destroyed. But, you know, I don't really drive these cars for the efficiency. If I wanted an efficient Tesla, I would have bought, you know, the long-range rear-wheel drive Model 3. But I wanted a car that was a bit spicier, and I've definitely grown to love this Model 3 Performance more than any other Tesla I've owned. All right, so let's get going for our drive. This will just be kind of talking about the, you know, the way it drives and how I like it. So of course we have auto shift, so I just got to buckle my seatbelt, press my foot on the brake to activate drive, and then the accelerator, and I can go on my way. The Model 3, I would say, compared to my Model Y that I've been driving both of them, it's lower to the ground. It's honestly a bit quieter just because of the wheels and tires I have on it, and it also drives just as well as the Model Y in full self-driving. So we're gonna hop on the highway for a little bit, and I'm gonna launch this, of course, and then I will also, talk about some full self-driving. But we're gonna start by just finding a random destination here. I can go ahead and set this as my destination. We're gonna act like we're going up here. So I'll just enable full self-driving right now. We have the left turn signal on, and we're actually pretty clear, so it should just go ahead and send it right now. And there we go. Now, I want to talk about something that I did that I promised myself that I would never do on another Tesla. So as you guys know, full self-driving right now is either $8,000 or $100 per month to subscribe to. Now, I had a lot of Tesla referral credits and a bunch of them were expiring. So I decided, why not just buy full self-driving in full? So I did that. A few weeks ago, I had a bunch of those credits. So I went ahead and I bought the full self-driving capability package in full. So now it's locked to this car. but I'm assuming sometime in the future I'll be able to transfer this to a new Tesla, or who knows, maybe this will literally be my robo-taxi, as my license plate says. There is going to be a front bumper camera that I'll be retrofitting whenever they add it to the Model 3. For now, like it drives really well. It's really competent. And, you know, after watching full self-driving evolve since 2019, when they just had like autopilot, and then they had like the navigate on autopilot, the auto lane change, all that stuff, it's been really nice to see just how, you know, from in 2022 it was absolute trash, like it just was not good. In 2023 it was a bit better, but it still made a lot of mistakes, and it just really in general was like you had to like be ready to take over so much. And then with 2024, and they started with V12 and they did the whole rewrite, they got rid of all those lines of code and they really started to improve it, and, you know, based off of camera clips and AI, it got so much better. And then with V13, it has been incredible. Like they've only had like 2 or 3 FSD updates this year on V13, but it's been driving so well. And at this point, maybe you're watching this video later on, V14 might already be out. It's not out yet, but it's coming out later this year, and I'm really excited to see how well it does, because V13 has really blown me away. Like I never thought I would actually buy full self-driving, like the full package again on a Tesla, but it's just gotten so good that, like, you know, I'd rather just own it at this point, because I know as it gets better and better, they're actually going to be able to increase the price, and because the value of it is truly higher. So let's go ahead and hop on the highway so I can just do some highway driving and, you know, get a little bit to a higher speed. All right, so we are hopping on the highway right now. I'm gonna go a little bit slow just so I can have some space to launch this. Highway's not too busy right now, but, you know, I actually won't be able to launch it. I'll just be able to kind of get up to speed. But in general, like, this is just an incredible car to drive around. Like it really feels like I can go fast in this thing. It's super quiet. I can weave through traffic. I don't have to worry too much. But one of my favorite things to do with this Model 3 is just kind of drive it on the highway, drive it around. I don't go too crazy because, you know, I have Tesla insurance, so my safety score can get impacted a little bit. But it's definitely like a nice car. This is the car I will drive to the airport, because I can get there quickly, I can get there efficiently, and I can have a good time. The Model Y I usually like to take when I'm just, you know, going around town. It's more comfortable, it's larger, I can fit more, so that's like the one I take to get groceries. And I'm just really happy that I decided to keep my Model 3 instead of just trading it in when I got the Model Y. It's really been an incredible car to own. And last year I said, like, if there was only one Tesla I could own for the next 5 years, I said that would be the Model 3. And I really still think that is true. You know, like it's a great car. For, you know, this was the 8th Tesla I've owned. The first was like a standard range Model 3, and then a long range Model 3, long range Model Y, Model S Plaid. And that, even this compared to the Model S Plaid, I would take this any day. Just because the Model S is a larger vehicle, and this is, you know, just a simpler car. It does everything I want it to do and more. And, you know, of course, it drives itself. It drives itself so well. All right, guys, so we are back from a drive, and I just want to give some final thoughts on my Model 3 performance. Now, of all the 9 Teslas I bought, I still think this is my favorite Tesla. And, you know, if I could only own one Tesla for the next 5 years, just like I said last year, it would have to be the Model 3 performance. Even the new Model Y performance is still gonna not come close enough to just the power, the comfort, and everything you get in this package right here. And if you're in the market for a Model 3 performance, I highly recommend it. It is one of the best cars you can buy for the price today. Thanks again to Magback for sponsoring this video. If you want to learn more about the wireless charger or their Magback Elite cases, they'll be in the description below. And of course, use code teslaflex to save 15% on your order. If you guys have any other questions about my ownership experience over the last year with my Model 3 performance, let me know down in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks again, guys, for watching. I'll see you in the next one.